Are you currently in the market for a multifamily and looking to purchase with FHA financing? If so, even if you haven't been pre-approved yet and you're looking to do so, I have a very important message for you today that really wasn't relevant in the previous years when we had rates that were all-time lows. Now that rates are more in the traditional range, we have to very importantly analyze a few things. Hey, Chad Rankin with the Rankin Mortgage Team in Worcester, Massachusetts. So what I'm talking about is called a self-sufficiency test. So FHA requires that when you're buying a 3 to 4 unit multifamily, the building and the rents have to pass a self-sufficiency test. So what does that mean? It means that those rents multiplied by 0.75%, and the reason they use 0.75 or 75% is for vacancy factors, because no building is 100% occupied 100% of the time. And so they let you use 75% of the rental income in the other units to help qualify you, but they also make sure in the self-sufficiency test that the rents will cover the mortgage. Now that was easy when rents were, in Worcester, for example, $1,400 for a 3-bedroom 3 years ago, and mortgages were a lot less when rates were in the 2s. It always passed the test. Now, it's not passing the test a lot of times, and so we have to be very careful if you're shopping that you know how it can pass the test, if it's going to pass the test, whether or not you should even place an offer on the property. Your agent, realtor needs to know exactly what's going on here. So this message is for the buyer, it's also for the realtor, because the worst thing to do is to go ahead and get under contract and then find out it's not going to work, or to be working with a lender that is not a true expert and does not understand this. The way that it's going to work here, and I'll give you some examples, you could be looking at buying a 3-family for $500,000, $600,000. That mortgage payment could easily be over $4,000, principal, interest, tax, and insurance. So that means that a combination of the unit that you're going to occupy, which that one will be vacant, so we'll be able to use market rents. So that's good. So that might be $1,900 or $2,000 for a good large, 3-bedroom unit. However, for the other 2 units, we're gonna have to use one of 2 things, and here's the key. If they are currently leased, we need to use what that tenant is paying. So if they're paying $1,400, they've been there for a few years, or they're paying $800 and they've been there for 15 years, we have to use that. There's no way in the world that when you add 800 plus 1,400 plus 2,000 and you divide that or multiply that by 0.75%, you take 75% of that, that will not be over $4,000. I can just say that off the top of my head because I've done this so many times recently, and I've taken over deals from other lenders where they did not know this, or where the appraiser really wasn't an extremely well-educated FHA appraiser and he was actually using the current leases. The point and the way that this works is being able to use market rents. Now, if the person was in a lease, but they are now tenant at will, so that lease has ended, it has expired, it was 3 years old, they are tenant at will now. It doesn't matter what that lease said 3 years ago or 4 years ago, and it doesn't matter if they are still actually paying $1,300 or $1,400. Because they are a tenant at will, we can use market rents. The perfect scenario is if they're all vacant, great, we can use market rents. But that doesn't usually happen. So the key is you need to focus on exactly what the rents are times 0.75%, and that number right there has to minimally cover what your mortgage payment is going to be. So let's say your mortgage payment was $4,100 and the rents come back and they total $4,150. After they were multiplied by 0.75%, you're only barely just making the self-sufficiency test, but that works. So hopefully that was some help. If you have any questions at all, reach out to somebody in our network or myself. If you are in New England, I would be happy to talk with you. Have a great day.